Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box, where today we wish a very happy birthday to Paul Anka. Now, Paul Anka was a star in his own right, and he had a remarkable trajectory of top hits from Diana in the mid-1950s all the way 30 years later, just about, to his 1974 hit You're Having My Baby, an iconic AM track of the 70s. But Paul was much more than just a great singer-songwriter. He was a composer and lyricist who wrote some of the most memorable and iconic songs of all time. And I think we might as well start with the top. If one had to pick one song from the 20th century that is probably the most beloved across national borders, across different age groups, across different ethnic groups, you could make a very strong argument that that song is My Way, as popularized by Frank Sinatra, the greatest vocalist of all time in the pop genre. And the lyricist behind that song, the person who adapted it to an English speaking audience, was, of course, none other than Paul Anka. And when you really think about the impact of that song, it solidified Sinatra as the GOAT, if you will, of the classic pop genre, because his career had many ups and downs over the years. The ups were, of course, very notable. The downs were something that got Sinatra quite down. But with the release of My Way in 1969, he was solidified as someone whose legacy would absolutely go on forever. And even if young people might not sit back and listen to a Sinatra album, even though they might enjoy it, if they did, they all know the face, they know the name, and surely they've heard some of the songs. And you cannot talk about Sinatra without talking about My Way. And therefore, you cannot talk about Paul Anka without talking about everything that he did on that song and on many others. One of my other favorite Sinatra songs from his sort of overlooked early 70s period was also a Paul Anka adaptation, and it's called Let Me Try Again, a real tearjerker, that one. And there's a video online on YouTube of Paul singing it himself, and he does a fantastic version in his own right. And another thing that people might not know about Paul Anka is the wonderful song Johnny's Theme, the song for around 30 years to The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. That was composed by Paul Anka. And so he's someone whose hands are all over the pop culture of the mid and even later 20th century. And he's performed for people all over the world so many times. And he's really been someone that's had a loyal audience for decades, but has continued to build new audiences, not just because of the work he's done with others, but also because of his big revival in the mid 1970s. He was someone who, for example, hosted episodes of the Midnight Special in an era when rock stars and the folk singer-songwriters of the day were doing that. So he was someone who was really transcendent. So join me in wishing a very happy birthday to Paul Anka, a true legend of song, and someone who at the age of 82 is likely to keep going on because he does show no signs of stopping. Like, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Take care.